Hi, Carrie. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm so glad that I finally got in to see you. I know that your schedule is like super busy, and I'm so grateful that you were able to squeeze me in. I've just been super, super stressed. We've been at this for 9 years. I've had a whole bunch of losses. I've done everything. I've done acupuncture. I've done every pill, every magic potion, every miracle cure, everything that I can think of. We're on our 4th fertility clinic. I don't know what else to do. I've heard so many good things about you, and I know that you're going to be our miracle. I can just feel it, because I know that I've got a baby out there somewhere, but I don't know what else it's going to take to be able to get him or her here. We're on our 4th clinic, like I said. We've been through 3 different clinics here, and then I went to one, I'm about to go to another one out of state. And hopefully you can help me work with my next IVF cycle, because this is kind of our last shot. We've done a whole bunch of different IUIs. I've been to the abdominal massage thing. I've done acupuncture. I've done all that kind of stuff. And I think this is finally going to work.
Do you have a diagnosis?
So, yeah, I've got endometriosis. I have PCOS. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
I also have and I can never say the word. Endomitis or something. I don't know. It's basically the opposite of endometriosis, but it is really pervasive, and it's painful. And then we have some male factor 2, some motility and morphology issues. And basically they've given us like a 1% chance of being able to get pregnant. And they laughed when we said, is there any hope that we can get pregnant on our own? They laughed in our face and they said, no, IVF is the only way.
Wow. So how do you feel about that?
It's frustrating, because I see all my friends have kids, or, are on their 2nd kid or 3rd kid by now, after all that we've been through. And it's just really frustrating. And I would love to be able to conceive on our own, because I've done, 15 different rounds with shots and pills and all kinds of stuff. And it's really hard on me. It's really hard on our marriage. And I would love to be able to just do what we're supposed to do and get pregnant.
Okay. Yeah. And well, as you know, I help with natural pregnancy and with supportive medical treatment. And that's how I kind of got started with this, is because women were being told that they have 0% chance of conceiving, or less than 3%. And they would come into they'd be told, well, just give it up, you could go and adopt, or get used to the idea that you're going to be childless, and then come in to see me, either maybe to work with that type of thing, or see if, something else could happen. And I started ending up with all of these pregnant women. These babies were showing up, and even with 0% chance. So, there's always hope, and it really doesn't matter how the baby gets here. I know it's difficult with, IVF and all of that, but it's bringing in the baby. It's just having a body for the baby. That's what the baby, really needs. So I can support you, right across the board with whatever it is that's going on for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I read your books, and that's like a friend of mine that came and saw you before turned me on to you and told me about, sent me copies of your books, and I read them, and yeah, I have really a lot of hope with this.
Okay, well, that's great. How's relationships? Do you have like a support system or?
Somewhat. Most people are just sick of me talking about it because it's been 9 years. Most of our friends already have kids, and they just don't want to hear it anymore. We got asked by everybody, bugged to death when we were 2 years in, 3 years in, oh, when are you going to start having kids? And that's all kind of stopped now because it's been so long. I think everybody is just kind of backed off, and so I feel really isolated, and I don't feel like I've got anybody to talk to.
Oh, well. Now, have you been to any support groups?
Yeah, I've tried a couple, but most of them, again, are only people that have been trying for a couple years, and they just don't necessarily see eye to eye with me on where our journeys are at, and it just feels like I'm kind of out in an island by myself.
Yeah, I hear you. That's rough.
Yeah, it's really lonely because I'm the type A personality, and I'm always the type that if I want something, I work for it and I get it. And I've not been able to do that with this. And it's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, no doubt that is. And yes, type A personalities. I'm one, and pretty much so are all my clients. So the thing with that is, you're right. You want to get something done and you do it. You want to go to a certain, school, or you want to get a certain job, or whatever it is. Yes, you put your energy into it and you do it. And you can't do that with the baby, which I'm sure you have learned over this time, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm going to help you do is to take that type A, or that left-brained, or that determination, or that achiever personality part of yourself. And a lot of people want to cure type A personalities. It's like they want us to be type B, they want us to be really chill. But we're needed. We have skills. We're helpful to the world. And so what the problem is when we get to that level of either steam coming out of the ears, or the big vein is throbbing in the head, and that's not helpful, because then that's fight or flight. And the fight or flight response, when we get so controlling and so detail oriented and so determined to make it happen, then we end up in that fight or flight response. We end up where we're not being able to kind of chill and balance and be receptive. So that's part of what I find for type A's is we just kind of have to balance it. And what we can do is we're going to take those abilities that you have, and we're going to direct them into the things you can do. So you said you're doing acupuncture, and now you're still doing the abdominal massage?
I've gone a couple of times, and it seems to have helped a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to go back.
Okay, so acupuncture, you're going to the clinic. So one of the things we can do is we can take that ability to, you can research the doctor or the practitioner that you want. Once you have decided on any of that, going to your appointments, setting up your appointments. If you have medications to take, then taking, your medications, any type of supplements. And then, so that's what you can do. And then there's the piece where it's letting go. It's relaxing. And I know relaxation, I know you guys hate that word, because people are like, yeah, just relax. Oh, yeah, why didn't I think of that, right? That's kind of like telling an insomniac, just go to sleep, But we are going to work with that through the hypnosis to help to sort of balance that, so that you can take the energies of your doer or achiever self and put those into the things that you can do, and then to work with basically releasing some of that, so that you can, because you're going to receive a baby. You can't left brain a baby. No matter what you do, you cannot force that baby to happen, which I don't need to tell you. So the hypnosis will sort of help with that balance. I call it intention and surrender. So you're going to intend to do what you can do, and then surrender to allow that receptivity. And that's not easy to do. So the hypnosis is going to help you with that process. And then basically it helps you to get your life back. Okay, so the baby is awesome. The baby is the icing on the cake, because, you know, just to have a moment with your husband, you know, 5 minutes of talking about anything but, you find
that would be amazing. Yeah, because that's definitely, it consumes us, and it's not fair in our marriage, and it's not fair in our friendships, and it's not fair on, you know, everything just feels so unfair.
Yeah, it is unfair. It is, and it's really difficult. It is. Yeah, I know. But the great thing is that we're going to help to balance you. That's why I say, when I say get your life back, is so that, you know, you can get to a state of balance, and then you can make decisions, or you can be more receptive to things, or whatever it is, because it's just not always on you. Because when you're constantly thinking about it, worrying about it, consumed with it, like I said, that fight or flight response, you know, it triggers that sympathetic nervous system. Because it's actually, you're like you feel like you're under a threat. Is that right? You seem like it's like a threat kind of hanging over you. Would you say that? Yeah. So then the body's going to respond that way, and that's not conducive to pregnancy, to conception. Whereas the counter to the sympathetic is the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's they actually call that rest and digest, or feed and breed. And so, you know, it's just really not a great idea to be trying to get pregnant when you're, you know, running across the plains trying to escape a tiger, or, you know, something like that. And that's the equivalent. That's what that's like. So we don't live under those circumstances, and things have changed a lot in our contemporary, you know, society or existence. But our body still responds that way. So hypnosis is the antithesis of stress. And so that will help you to actually activate that parasympathetic response. We're supposed to spend maybe 3% of our lives in fight or flight. And these days, you know, we're in there, you know, I don't know, 90% of the time, because the tigers that we used to deal with now are the mortgage, and, you know, the traffic, and is somebody at work, or, you know, and then the fertility struggle. And then with that, you have all of the, you know, unwanted advice, or all of the just relax suggestions, or the stuff on the internet. And so that just continues to exacerbate and to reinforce what you're dealing with. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Yeah, there's, you know, I've gone to that in-person support group, and then I'm in several different ones online, and it just seems like we're all frustrated, and we're all just venting all the time, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it really helps. So anything that can kind of combat that and give me a sense of peace and some stress relief, I'm on board.
Yeah, no, that's exactly a good way to put it, for sure. And yeah, support groups aren't real conducive to this issue, just because you know, the subconscious can't tell the difference between, well, I'll say reality, but I always put it in air quotes, and imagination. And so, being as that, you know, emotion and imagery is the language of the subconscious mind, and especially emotion, that like really hits home. And so when you go through somebody else's miscarriage, or somebody else's failed IVF, or whatever it might be with them, your subconscious mind takes that on as if it's happening to you. Okay, and so that in and of itself can create a block, because the subconscious mind will use whatever is convenient, whatever's kind of handy. And the pain or the discomfort of that, the hurt, you don't want to feel that, right? And so the subconscious will say, well, okay, we just won't have a baby, and then that way we won't feel that. But then it causes other problems of its own, right? So yeah, with the support groups, that's where you just kind of have to balance it and make sure it's not going to be too much of that negative reinforcement or that fear, or, you know, it's a frustrating experience. I know women tell me they feel broken, and it's kind of like the more you're in that, the more you can take that on. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes total sense.
Okay. So do you have questions for me?
So I've never been hypnotized before. So how does this work?
Okay. So have you done meditation or yoga, anything like that?
I've done some meditation, but since I'm pretty high strung, I usually can't really pay attention and just sit still. So I'm a little nervous.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that I hear that from my clients all the time with meditation, because the idea of meditation is kind of to just sit still and be in silence. And it depends what kind. I mean, there's, you know, sitting meditation, there's guided meditation and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it can be frustrating when you're trying to quiet your mind and your mind is kind of going. So a lot of people I find give up on meditation. The great thing about hypnosis, you don't have to quiet your mind. Okay, your mind can sit there and you can, you know, think about dinner or next week's vacation or your corporate merger or whatever it is that you're doing. You can sit there and wonder, am I being hypnotized? Is this working? I wonder what's happening. Yeah, you would too, huh?
Totally.
Yeah, I would too. And that's exactly the cool thing, because that's your conscious mind, and we don't need to work with your conscious mind. Okay, if you could get pregnant consciously, if it was just a matter of setting your mind to it, then you wouldn't be here. And so what we want to tap into is the subconscious mind. And so the conscious mind, you can listen to me, you can hear every word I say, you can, you know, sort of tune me out. You can fade in and out, you can drift off, you can even go to sleep. It doesn't matter, because your subconscious mind always hears. And that's where I want to do the work with. We want to get your conscious and your subconscious mind on the same page. So your subconscious mind, that's the stronger part of the mind. It's the larger part. It's the one that's going to win out if the two are ever in conflict. And so when I say you can't left brain a baby, it's really that, you know, that idea that I can just, if I just am rational enough and organized enough and determined enough, then I can do it. And what you can do is all the things that can be helpful. And then at the same time, there's that receptivity, that allowing of the pregnancy to occur, of the, you know, the conception, the pregnancy, the birth, and so forth. Yeah, so does that clarify hypnosis kind of for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, you can move, you know, you'll be able to hear me. You can open your eyes if you want. Most people don't, because, you know, it's just comfortable. You don't have to be relaxed to be hypnotized. It can go along nicely, but, you know, basically you're just gonna, you know, close your eyes and breathe. That's all you need to do. And yeah, again, whatever you're experiencing is fine. It's exactly right for you. And people do experience it differently. And sometimes, you know, people feel like they were sort of like really super relaxed or sort of, you know, dreamy. And then sometimes they feel like they were just really alert. And it doesn't matter, because the hypnosis is designed to impact the subconscious, which always hears and is always paying attention. So your conscious mind can do whatever it wants. If it gets bored, it can check out. If it's interested, it can listen to everything. But yeah, does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think that's it.
All right. So would you like to do some hypnosis?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, well, I'm just going to have you get comfortable there. And whenever you're ready, you can just go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay.
And just take a couple of nice deep breaths. And give yourself permission to relax. And give yourself permission to just let go. And take this time for you. And this is your time, so let this time be a gift from yourself to yourself. Any cares or concerns, if they're important, they can be there for you at the end of this time. So for now, intend to set them aside and let yourself Just let go. And focus on your breathing. And so breathing in deeply. And breathing out completely. Breathing in deeply. And breathing out completely. Is actually a client of mine. She did have her little baby girl with, HypnoFertility, and she agreed to do this for me. She basically emulated her original interview with me, just because this is such a delicate subject. I didn't feel comfortable asking someone who has not gotten pregnant yet or hasn't even seen me as a client to do an intake with me. And Carrie is just so compassionate about these things and just able to express and demonstrate exactly what clients are going through, clients like herself and what she went through. So I appreciate that from Carrie for demonstrating that for us.